Strategies for de-escalation and self-regulation. At the end of this lesson, you will be able to identify prevention strategies for all students and identify potential Tier 2 and Tier 3 strategies if escalation continues. Remember, it is important to view all practices and products through a trauma-informed lens. Looking through a trauma-informed lens means being sensitive to the impact of trauma on others and yourself, understanding and utilizing tools to support students and yourself in regulating during times of stress, as well as identifying and supporting the system change needed to reduce re-traumatization. It is also important to remember that we must allow a student to de-escalate and regulate before problem solving. If a child is in their survival brain, no learning will take place. Let's discuss the trauma-informed approaches for this lesson. As stated on the previous slide, we must allow a student to de-escalate and regulate before solving the issue at hand. Problem solving cannot happen in the moment. Designate a quiet, safe space a student can feel safe de-escalating. It is never about the current issue. It goes much deeper. Think about what is really driving the student's behavior. Listen and value the student's voice. Ask how you can help and respond with empathy. It's a brain issue, not a behavioral issue. An educator's job is to help a student regulate, not simply behave. Incorporate regulatory activities into the culture of the classroom and support students in their ability to learn how to self-regulate. Discipline is to teach, not to punish. Discipline should happen through the context of a relationship. Use consequences that keep students in school and foster the building of trust and safety. Best practice prevention strategies for all students. These strategies are best practices for all students, not just those with trauma or a chronic stress history. This slide is titled, Clip Charts Don't Build Relationships, but we are addressing student shaming practices for all grade levels, not just elementary. Practices such as clip charts or other student shaming practices often create peer pressure mentality or social stigma. Public shaming, such as yelling at a student in front of peers, sending a student to the hallway, or overuse of sarcasm are not beneficial. Students with a history of adverse childhood experiences are also not benefiting from these types of consequences. These consequences may yield quick results, but the results are not lasting or meaningful. They do not teach self-regulation, and they are not best practices or trauma-informed, even if on your clip chart you are only clipping up. We will discuss each of these alternative strategies in this lesson and the next lesson titled Discipline is to Teach, Not to Punish. We will review the SEL competencies and how you can select the SEL program that fits best for your students and staff. Remember that safe relationships are the key to a trauma-informed approach. We will provide you with calm-down strategies and resources that your staff can implement in their classroom and review Tier 1 positive behavior supports in multi-tiered systems of support. As we have shared in previous lessons, we know that for students to be successful, we must ensure students are supported in all of these areas, that we are meeting the needs of the whole child. Have you heard the saying, we must Maslow before we can bloom? If a child's basic needs are not met, they may struggle to be successful. This is the Tier 1 MTSS behavior triangle model that has been presented in depth throughout Modules 2 and 3. As you have worked through Modules 2 and 3, you have been working in depth at building systems, practices, and data to build a sustainable Tier 1 model in your school. That is school-wide expectations for all students, staff, and settings. You will notice on this triangle the 80%, 15%, and 5%. Even though at the Tier 1 level, we are providing school-wide expectations and have developed systems and practices for 100% of our student population, we must assume that only about 80% of those students will be successful at Tier 1. We will have about 15% of our student population that will need to move into Tier 2 to receive extra supports to help them be successful. We will also have about 1 to 5 of your student population that will need to receive Tier 3 supports. This is more individualized for students with high-risk behavior. This is an example of Tier 1 practices from Cornelson Elementary and from Fairview Public Schools. Their school-wide expectations are WARGA, which are work hard, act right, get along. You can see an example poster from their cafeteria. In their cafeteria, the rules are to use your manners, clean your area, be respectful to all students and staff, keep your body and objects to yourself, use a whisper voice or a conversation voice. Social emotional learning. These are the 5 competencies of SEL learning from CASEL. Self-awareness, self-management, responsible decision-making, relationship skills, social awareness. We went more in depth on each of these areas in the Teaching Expected Behaviors lesson in Module 3. When you are looking to implement an SEL system or curriculum program within your site, on their website, CASEL has built a preschool and elementary edition curriculum guide, as well as a middle and high school curriculum guide. These guides provide evaluation of different SEL programs, share best practice guidelines for district and school teams on how to select and implement SEL programs, offer recommendations for future priorities to advance SEL research and practice. If you are interested in learning more about SEL curriculums that are available, I highly suggest you open the guide that fits the grade levels for your site. At the end of this lesson, on the resources page, you will find a link to these curriculum guides. Validation and response. All children respond to a traumatic event in a different manner. It is important that we listen with empathy. Remember, it is not about you. Something else is happening with this child, and we need to help them address that issue. We need to try to understand their unique perspective, validate their feelings and concerns, help the child identify their emotions, and respond with understanding and empathy. These are some examples of ways to label and validate a child's feelings and empathize with them. It seems like you were angry. So we need to acknowledge that the situation is upsetting, or I know that it is frustrating to stop playing the game to come to circle time, or I know that you were in the middle of researching for your project, but it is time to move on to the next lesson. We let them know that we are willing to help them with the problem once they are calm. When a child feels validated, they are more likely to hear or listen to you, change their behavior. It helps develop that relationship, builds the child's self-esteem and self-awareness, and improves overall emotional health. We had addressed earlier in this lesson and in previous lessons that a child needs a calm down room or a calm down corner or center, a safe place where they can go to regulate. In your regulation station, you may add in items such as a beanbag chair, a rocking chair, a swing, music with headphones, books, bubbles or glitter jars, or a mental health support kit. A mental health support kit is a collection of comforting items to help with regulation. We would want at least one kit per classroom. In the kit, you would find fidgets, manipulatives, stress balls, Play-Doh, conversation cubes, coloring books, and reflection and mindfulness cards. Fidgets and the rest of these activities are often used to provide sensory input in a less distracting way. They can help improve concentration and attention to tasks by allowing the brain to filter out the extrasensory information. Another great calm down activity is to have a coloring wall on a bulletin board, either out in your common hallway area or within your classroom. This example comes from Surrey Hills Elementary and Yukon Public Schools. Coloring relaxes the fear center of your brain. It requires focus, opens up frontal lobe for organizing and problem solving, generates mindfulness and quietness. It uses both sides of your brain. The logic side tells you to stay in the lines, while the color use enlightens your creative side. This builds a school-wide collaboration. The reason it builds a school-wide collaboration is that this example in this picture from Surrey Hills is in their hallway. So anytime that there's a child that needs to calm down, or teachers need to step out and take a break, if there's a parent volunteer in the building, anyone is allowed to go up and color on this wall. So once the picture is complete, they have this really neat piece of art to share with their school community. At the end of this lesson, on the resources page, you have been provided with links to many of these activities that we are discussing on the next several slides. Breathing techniques and mindfulness. Visualizing colors with focused breathing. This is what color breathing looks like. You would close your eyes, imagine the color. So if I were to close my eyes and imagine the color blue, that should bring about feelings of relaxation and peace and help to clear your mind. Green is healing and balance to help improve your thoughts. Magenta is for release to help you let go of negative thoughts. Orange is for fun, happiness, and joy to uplift your mood. And red is for energy and vitality to increase strength and energy. Rise and fall deep breathing. This supports diaphragmatic deep breathing. Be mindful of student response and adjust supports as necessary. Mindfulness. Mindfulness is the awareness your mind has when you focus on the present and purpose of what you are doing. There are plenty of free mindfulness activities. The one that I've provided for you today is from Go Noodle. You can find them for any grade level. They're a great little brain break activity to help your class kind of recenter and refocus. As a classroom teacher, I implemented them often after recess to get my children back into their learning mode and calmed down. Please close your eyes and follow along.
This exercise will teach you how to turn high, stressful energy off so that you can do what you need to do to be your best self. Close your eyes and listen, or keep them open and follow along. Remember, you are in control of your body. Sit back and rest. You can sit on the ground with your legs out straight and your back leaning against something. Or you can sit in your chair with your legs long and your feet flat on the floor while you lean against the back of your chair. Get comfortable. We're going to turn on the energy in our bodies, and then we're going to be turning it off. Let's begin with your toes. Wiggle your toes to wake them up. Ready? Now tighten your toes, like you're making a fist with them. Try to only turn on the power in your toes. And let all other areas of your body rest. Breathe in while they're tight, and then when you breathe out, turn the energy off. Let your toes rest. Again, breathe in and turn the energy on in your toes. Just your toes. Breathe out to turn it off and let the tightness go. Let's give your legs a chance. Turn on the energy in your legs. Straighten them if that helps. Make tight, tense muscles. Now breathe in to add even more energy. Exhale. and let go. Legs go soft. Power goes off. Let's do one more round with legs. Ready? Start breathing in. Turn the energy on. Legs are working hard, tight, tense. Then turn that energy off. Breathe out. Relax. Soften those muscles. You're in control. Now your hands. Make fists and inhale as you turn your energy on. And then let's exhale and rest. Turn it all off. Add your arms this time. They can be straight or bent. Make fists. Arms get tight. Energy on. Breathe in. Breathe out and let go. Energy off. Arms and hands one more time. Turn it on with an in-breath and turn it off with an out-breath. And finally, we're going to try the whole body. If you want, add your face muscles too. Crinkle up your eyes, your lips, your cheeks. Ready? Breathe in and turn on your whole body's energy. Toes, feet, legs, hands, arms, face. Feel the energy in your body. It's on. And now turn it all off while you breathe out slowly. Relax. The energy's off. See if you can stay still. Just for a little. Energy's off. Notice how you might feel different in your body now that you've practiced being in control of your very own on and off switch.
You can see how calming that is and what a great way it is to allow a child to kind of recenter and refocus and move back to that neocortex and be ready to go on in class. Movement. We know the benefit of brain breaks for our students. Repetitive movement can be key in helping students regulate. So whether that is brain breaks, rocking, pacing, standing exercises, possibly you've had a child that has requested to stand at their desk rather than sit down, or you notice the child that stands a lot often. Sitting exercises, movement through space, bilateral activities. You'll notice this underlined portion at the bottom that says Take a Break Teacher's Toolbox. This is a great resource from the Colorado Department of Education. It is linked on that resource page at the end of the lesson. It is just a whole toolbox of very quick brain break activities that you can use from early childhood up through secondary. Music is also a great addition to your classroom. Instrumental music can be exceptionally calming. It can change a brainwave pattern and help release cortisol levels from the brain. White noise machines create a meditation-friendly world around you and gets your brain focused. It helps remove ancillary inputs, improving mental clarity. Intervention strategies. If escalation continues, these are potential Tier 2 and Tier 3 intervention strategies. In future trainings, we will go more in depth on Tier 2 and Tier 3. We just wanted to provide you with these strategies to make you aware of what these might look like implemented at a site. Modules 2 and 3 have focused on building a Tier 1 primary prevention sustainable system at your site. Although we are providing expectations for all students and staff, as previously mentioned in this lesson, you will have students with at-risk behavior or high-risk behavior that would benefit from Tier 2 and Tier 3 supports. Tap in, tap out could be used as a Tier 2 support. You'll notice the envelope on this page. The teacher may keep an envelope or a note on the corner of their desk. So if they have a student that they see is becoming triggered, they may benefit from being removed from the environment for a few minutes. The child could come get the envelope or the note. It's already set up with a buddy class next door. It's positively framed. You're using this before escalation takes place. The student can get the note, could step over to the buddy class for 5 to 10 minutes. Once they have come back down, they would return to class. You will also see the teachers on this. Teachers also need to be aware of their boundaries and their triggers. It's okay to recognize that you're being triggered and to know that you need to step away from the situation for a moment. So you would step next door to your buddy class and say, hey, can you please watch my class for a few minutes? I need to step away. This allows you to recharge. It's collaborative and it builds support among your staff. Check-in, check-out is also a Tier 2 support. The program consists of students daily checking in with an adult at the start of school to retrieve a goal sheet and encouragement. Teachers provide feedback on the sheet throughout the day. Students check out at the end of the day with an adult, and the student takes the sheet home to be signed, returning it the following morning at check-in. Let's take a look at how this looks in a school.
What's that?
That's another check-in and check-out of somebody who had the perfect day, so we put it on the wall of fame. You gonna be the next one?
Because we do check-in and check-out, students feel supported through a positive relationship every single day, which builds their capacity to be successful students.
I know you can do it. Okay.
At Fall Hamilton, we've really put a lot of effort in building positive relationships.
Hi.
How was your day?
Good.
One strategy we utilize is our check-in and check-out system, where adults are meeting with kids every single day, and it's not their classroom teacher. We have 41 students on check-in and check-out here.
You're gonna do great, aren't you?
And we identify the students that just need a little bit more support, where they're struggling meeting some of their requirements on an educational level, but more of a social and emotional level as well.
You did. I'm so proud of you.
The child knows every day they come in this building that somebody's excited to see them in the morning and excited to see them right before they leave.
Hey, Mariah.
Hi.
You ready to have another great day today?
Yep.
My check-in, check-out buddy, her name is Mariah, and she's in 4th grade. She has 3 goals every day that she works on. What are your goals for today?
Listen, be on task, and nice.
Awesome. She can get 0, 1, or 2 points for each of her goals.
The goal sheet is based off the student's needs, and it is agreed upon by the classroom teacher and the student. So whatever they're struggling with is what the goal is set around. Then every increment of the day, at the end of their literacy block, at the end of their mathematics block, at the end of recess, they're just getting feedback.
About being nice and you're nice to go around you. Good job. I agree, you're doing a great job.
Whoever the teacher is will give her points throughout the day. If she had a bad day, I try to just let her know that she still has the capability to do great tomorrow. But today was a really great day. You had a perfect day? She got a perfect score on her goals for the day.
What I like about check-in and check-out that you get prizes and you get to see what you did good and what you did wrong, and you can do better next time.
We try to pick things that the kids like, school supplies, or non-tangible things like a positive phone call home to the parent congratulating them. It is a great day for Mariah, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So it's not just about the points. The relationship and the accountability is really the important part.
How was your day?
Good. Actually, it was fantastic.
Fantastic.
Mr. Portel, he's our principal and my mentor. You go to him and then he asks about your day, and if you had a problem somewhere, we'll talk about that and see how you can fix it.
We've seen kids transforming their own opinions of themselves. Peyton, man, he had a rough year last year. Just to see his growth on a foundational level of being able to be in a class all day without incident and being able to start growing on his academics.
So, do you think you knocked it out of the park?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's been a huge success.
You did it with me.
That's right. No, but you did it on your own. That's you, my man. Nice work.
An example of a Tier 3 support would be an individualized plan for teaching and reinforcing lagging skills. Examples of lagging skills and unsolved problems would be difficulty transitioning from activities, poor sense of time, difficulty maintaining focus, difficulty expressing concerns or feelings, chronic irritability, difficulty deviated from rules or routine, difficulty seeking attention in appropriate ways, lacking basic social skills, and difficulty showing empathy. So notice that at the top of this form it is labeled Student of Concern form. However, we choose to call it a Student Success form. You would put together a team, a Tier 3 team that would really focus in on that 1 to 5% of students that need and that extra support. So this is an example of a Student Success form where you would go through and mark the areas of concern and put supports in place to help that child become successful. On this page, this will link you to most of the activities in this lesson. In the next lesson, you will move on to discipline is to teach, not to punish, where you will go more in depth on restorative strategies and other classroom strategies that you can implement. Thank you.